Okay, so the purpose of the post is to offer up the modification to a clutch lever on a Hayabusa. So I've owned my Generation 1 since 2004. I love the bike, but I really hate the clutch. What I mean by that is it only operates about the last centimetre before it's fully open. That means I have very little control over the bikes. You ride other bikes and there's a tolerance, although they're all sort of different, but you know roughly where the biting point's going to be. This is really very much the exception to the rule. Over the years, I've gone on the internet searching different things, forums, the booster sites and that, and whilst there are loads of other riders got the same issue, the stock reply is basically they're not adjustable. So in the old days, a clutch would be adjusted down where the engine is. You'd have an adjuster there that you could alter, and you'd also have an adjuster on the lever. With the hydraulic clutches, there is no adjustment. What you get is what you get. Yeah, you've got an adjuster on the actual lever itself, but that's only to do with the size of your hands and bringing the lever nearer or further away from you. So I've tried and looked at different things, thinking someone would offer up a modification that may have assisted in trying to overcome this problem when there is no adjustment. Recently, having ridden several bikes in a short period where they're all pretty much in that same sort of tolerance level, I thought I've got to do something now about the booster, because it's just making slow riding that much more challenging. The problem that I had was not only was there no adjustment, was also I'm not a techie, I'm not a mechanic, so I'd have to come up with sort of a common sense solution to the problem. So I decided to take the lever apart, and I looked like what I think was the cause of the problem, which I now know to be what's called a master cylinder push rod, could hold the answer. So my notion was, if the push rod was a little bit shorter in length, it more than likely is the answer I was looking for. Rather than damage the actual part, because this is only a notional idea, I decided to get a replacement which I made out of just an old bolt. Made sure that the width was the same, but cut off the head and obviously then cut off about 2mm shorter than the actual one. Fitted it, put it back all together, and it gave me the tolerances that I was originally looking for, which meant the clutch was working absolutely fine. I decided then, because it seemed like it was good, that I then decided to cut off the end, which I can show you on a different image. So you've got two ends. You've got a push rod end that is like a plunger, then you go on the other end, which goes into a brass cylindrical fitting that's on the lever itself. That's where I decided to cut it off. Put it back together, and hey presto, yep, everything's working fine. Don't do too much, do maybe 1mm at a time, 2mm, put it back together. It's an easy fix for what the end result is. It can take you 5 minutes, and it's massive, the difference that's made to my bike. As I know, so many other riders have posted similar and had similar sort of comments back saying there is no modification. This may be a suggested modification that might be of interest.